Hey, Keckers here. With the end of the amazing Digital Circus, I thought I'd touch on one particular part of the series by focusing on one particular character that often gets left out of the discussion. That topic, forgiveness, that character, Gangle. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe? Let's get started. From episode 1, she was shown as the most vulnerable of the Digital Circus crew, the one that seemed to be overlooked and mistreated. Hell, she didn't even make it into Fortnite. And yes, it was all seen and done as a joke in the first couple of episodes. Oh, this is a slapstick character that gets beaten up. But then a strange thing happened. People didn't laugh at it, or rather, only one person laughed at it. That person being Jax. And yes, it was seen and done as a joke in the first couple of episodes. Oh, this is the slapstick character that gets beaten up. But then a strange thing happened. People didn't laugh at it, or rather, only one person laughed at it. And that's when it clicked. This wasn't the slapstick character, this was someone being put into that role by an abuser that that person is trapped with. Because yes, other characters did get messed with by Jax, but Gangle from day one was chosen to be his primary target. And the person he latched onto as the release valve for his own insecurities and pain. That became her role because he chose, just as he chose her name, Gangle. As for why Jax did what he did, well, that's kind of the problem. Focusing on why the abuse is happening rather than its effect on the abused. And it is another thing which is sort of diminishing her and her pain. Because Gangle's pain and feelings are her own, and like Zubul said, she shouldn't be forced to think about him when he isn't even around. Episodes 1 through 3 didn't really do much for her. She's sort of just like a side character existing for her joke in those episodes. But episode 4 is where it really kicks in and kicks hard. We see the weight the circus is placed on her, we see how she's reacting to it, how she's reacting to other characters, especially Jax. We see how her bipolar disorder, which is what I'm assuming that is supposed to be, how it affects her. Her desire to try and find balance in herself, her emotions, her life, and how kind of one person is the person who's being her rock in that, and that being Zubul, helping her find a new mask, and also her sort of stamping down her emotions, because the mask in that episode isn't about her being happy or sad. That is a hiding and coping mask. And that is shown through the course of the episode, because whether her other mask would have broken in these instances, which we hear through the cracks, this one locks her into place, locks her into pretending, and she has to go through her workday just pretending and surviving. Episode 5 delves a bit more into her, learning about her art, how she looks down on herself for dropping out of school, how she sees the art as something she failed at rather than something she could still achieve. Ideas Jax reinforces by making fun of her during her segments, but also giving us the beginnings of her coming out of her shell and more of her relationship with Zubul, showing how a more protective and guiding figure can help lift someone up. The real turning point is episode 6. This is her truly standing up for herself, saying no to Jax, singing out her own wants with the Tommy gun, trusting other people with her true self. This is the point in the series where she decides that she is not going to live in fear of this other person here. That she realizes that the things she wants for herself are important and shouldn't be decided by another person that she's afraid of. And when the characters are at the lowest, when they're trapped, when this is all they have, when this is all that they think there is, when there's nothing else to life in this situation, that's when they get to decide how they're going to treat each other. And she at that time decides that she's not going to be afraid of this, afraid of him, that she's not going to place her self-worth in someone else's hands, that Jax is not worth it. But then the thing happens that happens in the last episode. And when the person that has tormented you and caused you pain and suffering has gone through something else, something terrible, and you don't know how to feel, you don't know how to really forgive this person, and is it for you, is it for them? Because she knows, they all know that bad things has happened to everyone. But that does not excuse the way they've been treated. It does not excuse the way she's been treated. So she's conflicted in her emotions. And here's the thing. No one is owed forgiveness. Forgiveness is earned. And if you don't put in the work to earn your forgiveness, then the other person's under no obligation to forgive you. And hell, even if you do put in the work for forgiveness, that other person is still under no obligation to forgive you. They may forgive you for themselves, but they do not need to forgive you for you. And does Gangle eventually forgive Jax for the things that have happened to her? Or does she just accept them and move on? That's something that only that character can decide. Because oftentimes someone coming from an abusive household will have difficulty deciding how they feel about like abusive family members, about friends who have mistreated them, spouses, and maybe that person has reasons for the things they did. They came from an abusive household. They're going through withdrawal. They have drug problems. But none of that is really the victim's responsibility to deal with. And after Jax is gone and Gengil's living her life, now she's deciding all of that stuff. Now they are, as a group, as a family, as whatever it is that they're going to be after the series is over, now she is growing beyond the things that he did to her. And that's something that makes me happy for her. And if she forgives him, if she mourns him, all of that stuff is her choice. And I definitely don't want to hear or see people saying that she absolutely needs to forgive Jax for all the stuff he put her through. Because no, she does not need to forgive him for jack anything. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on this. This is my thoughts on Gangle. This is my thoughts on some of the Digital Circus. And the show is just over now. But as I think more about it, I might put in more of my thoughts on this series. If you want them, well, put them in the comments below and ask me. And I will see you all later, taters. Bye-bye, guys.